What up, random rockers? A little fizzy. I apologize, but I hope you got it. Hope you got it real good. Today, on Random Rock Countdown, here on the Random Rock and Roll Listen Views channel, my fellow random rockers, which is what you subscribers will be called. I finally established that. And we're going to be talking about, it's been long awaited. I have not yet mastered the solo. I apologize to that certain someone on Facebook that I know of. I said that to, and everyone else who saw that. I might be able to do parts of it, just because I used up all of the one song specifically. My name is Jonas here, that I could do rhythm-wise, riff-wise. So, now let's get into the review part. Without further ado, 10 from least favorable, or worst, in this case, to most favorable, or most loathed to most loved, is what we're going to go off of for this particular review, including the new album, total 10, so there you go. Let's start with number 10. Fuck your attitude. I hope I can put you back together. But fuck you. Fuck you. Piece of shit. Not even worth talking about. But here's a boring piece of shit to talk about. Number 9. God, I wish we could all say that this album's existence was make-believe, in a land of make-believe. Sadly, that is not the case. And there's a reason why there's a used sticker on there. I know it's bad. I've heard it was bad. I'm not going to bother to purchase something bad unless it's used. That says something, Weezer, and how much a piece of shit this was. Despite it giving you whatever commercial success you had, it was a boring piece of shit. It's a boring fucking piece of shit. There are a few tracks on here, but none of them work. None of them are salvageable enough from everything else. Like, I know I'm not talented and fuck, but these guys were better than that, you know? This was the start of the Dark Ages. That heaping pile of shit right there was the beginning. Was nearly the beginning of the end. Like, this was the beginning of the end. That was surely to have been the end. But it wasn't. And thank God they proved us wrong with that one. It's wrong from that one. That just don't even want to talk about it, like I said. This one, I don't even want to bother to talk about. I mean, it's just a fucking mess. They could have made something better, and apparently there's a track on that piece of shit that proved they could have done better, but even that track was kind of like, eh. So, yeah, number 9. Piece of shit. Actually. Whoop. Now we're done with the shit parts of the list. Oh, well, almost. Let's talk about the parts of the Dark Ages that mattered. Or at least are worth noting to go through in order to get to the recent albums that will be much later on this list. This was a tough one. I wanted to be different from Crash Thompson. If you've seen his White Album review, you would know. Which I will talk about that later. So, this, for the sake of being different, it can be either way. It could between the 8 and 7. Number 8. This big guy over here. Hurley. Fucking Hurley. You were promised to save us from the shithole that was Raditude. Oh, how you failed. Miserably. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of great tracks on here, but it's only like half of the album. And you wish most of the bonus tracks, though I wish I would have heard them. But from what I did hear of them, they should have been on the album to make it better. Because this was just them playing it safe after last record, but it was within a 13-month time frame. 11 to 13 months was how long it took between that and that piece of shit lying on the floor. And it shows in places, even when they're actually damn good written songs. They don't showcase it that well because of that, how long they took. And this damage was done from that piece of shit Raditude. Damage was fucking done. And this couldn't save it, and the band just kind of for 4 years went dark. Nothing. Until when I get to that particular one later in the list. But before that, let's talk about... I wish I would have had a shirt for this one. For this particular color. I think I do, but I said fuck it. Forget it. Which is, of course, number 7. The Red Album. Oh, Red. How you did save us from our number 9. But also kind of became the groundwork for the piece of shit that lies right on that floor. Right on that floor. Son of a bitch. Fuck you, Raditude. Fuck you. Oh, Red. You can tell by the way they look in this one. They tried to do a Village People thing, but it seems no one decided to, work on that. And in all honesty, this was the last initial album I had bought leading into another album later on the list. Mostly because it was the color scheme bullshit. I had those 2 other particular colors, might as well get this one, I guess. And for that, I wasn't disappointed. I admit, most of these albums I did not purchase until I decided to do this countdown review. And because of prepping up for the new album that recently came out, literally over nearly 2 months ago at this point. I know I'm a little late. I wanted to work on something and I just got sick and tired of it. Because I have some other shit in my life I gotta fucking deal with. And I want to get this done. But I want to do it right. And when we get to the good shit, we will do it right. Red, the best things was the lead single, Pork and Beans. Heart Songs was nice. That's why it deserves to be over this one, despite tracks like, Trainwreck, pretty well. Trainwrecks is one of their best written idea songs on here. Brave New World, Hang On, and Unspoken are good tracks. The Unspoken seems to, yeah, those are the pretty well the biggest ones. I think Ruling Me was alright. Like half of these tracks were, like I said, for Hurley were, but they had their own record label. I didn't even notice that till I looked at this one. That's just funny. And they were on Epitaph, by the way, which would have been an even better sign of the next record to come after this one. Oh, did they have to make it up to us and just said fuck you to the people that they were catering to, just, to get more of this and all that. They was done dealing with that, And I will discuss that a little further down the line. I mean, this Brave New World, the tracks that really are the problem is Smart Girls. It's really supposed to have been titled Hot Girls. But, this is the track Where's My Sex, which, just so you know, the song, if you hear the lyrics, the song is basically his daughter's Rugrat word for socks. She always lost her socks. And somehow she says, because of baby talk, and it sounds like the word sex. So it's just it was an inside joke that just nobody understood and thought it was just creepy Rivers again. Coming out of the woodworks. I get when it wasn't creepy and it was just nerdy, charming demeanor kind of thing. Not nerdy, like creepy, That was good, Weezer. And it seems they have come back from that, and that's why I'm making it worthwhile for this countdown. Yeah, this and this are the ones that you could probably go back and listen to from the Dark Ages, for sure. Troublemaker, I don't know why I like that track, I just don't understand that. Best Band I Ever Lived, Variations on a Shaker Hymn. Longest track on this record, and did it really need to be? It overstays its welcome. But then Pork and Beans seems to be the track that kind of saves this. The lead single of Pork and Beans saves to save this. Hard Songs, the reason why this album beats out this one, even though there are, probably technically more songs on here that are really good, I guess, is because this track, there are very few people who will bother to reference Eddie Rabbitt's I Love a Rainy Night. After that, I just don't give a shit what else he says, even if it makes no sense to some people. That was enough to kind of say, fuck yes. Rivers considers Eddie Rabbitt great. My dad does. I do, for that reason that I said before that. And yeah. And Everybody Get Dangerous is alright. It's kind of odd song. It's talks about his cow tipping, but he really didn't do that. It's just there with his friends, and whatever. Dreamin's good, though it ends off in a way that's kind of just drags the song on, and there were certain parts that were nice, and then they go into this weird, awesome, heavy riff, and then just kind of stops and goes back to the weird little thing that they're doing, which kind of throws you off a lot. And then they do and they end. I like it. It was a good bouncy song, and they screwed that up. But then 7, 8, 9 do something out of the blue as both the other three members go up front with vocals. Hell, automatic. Rivers himself is doing drums instead of Pat, and Pat's up there in front doing vocals and guitar. Though that was great for that track, it wasn't for what he was trying to do on Ratitude. In fact, Freese was on that. I didn't want to talk about it, but now I have to because of this. Freese, Josh fucking Freese, was on that album. He didn't understand why the fuck he was there, and it shows. And there's tracks on there where he's not even credited, so it's... But yet Patrick's not credited for drumming. So what the fuck happened there? Was that electronic drums fucking bullshit or what? Unfucking believable. Ugh. But, I mean, Cold Dark World is just a badass song for Scott Schreiner. Nice job. It's a good little kind of rappy thing that actually works. It's like, I like the groove. It's great. And it's a good, like, seduction kind of track that actually works. Seems like it could work in a Weezer kind of way. Like, it works. It's just, why wasn't this stuff more involved in the other album that's on the fucking floor? Piece of shit. You got ratitude my ass. Ugh. Angel in the One is considered one of Rivers' best. I wish I could remember what it was about. I know it had something to do with how he... I think it was Vows for His Wife, or am I confusing it with another song? Like, I think Hang On from this one. But, nonetheless, these are the only two albums of the Dark Ages worth listening to and worth going back to, just to be able to have some idea and understanding. Unless you've listened to that album, then by the time we get to that one, you'll know what I'm talking about. Alright, guys. That leaves us, finally, with the good albums and the great ones. Number 6. This was a tough one for me. But I'm sorry. This is where me and for the rest of this list, if you, Crash Thompson, rock critic, and of Critical Conditions on Metal Sucks channel, yeah, you already know what's coming next. We're on I Die now. Despite the fact that one track on one of these albums made me want to push it back a little bit. And another one that's kind of but still pretty kick-ass anyway. It just as a track in and of itself. But yeah, number 6. Yes, 6. Oh, by the way, support your local shit, like I said before. To those who've catched up with me via Facebook, support your local shit, but that's not why I'm pointing at this. Y'all know what's next with number 6. Could make top 5, but would have if it was just 9 albums. Let's see. Yeah. I guess it's not as dark. It's darker than this. I thought it would be the same color. Oh well. Green. Oh, green. The first and only album to feature... Hold on. If I can remember the bass player's name here. Because it's not Scott Schreiner. Scott Schreiner didn't show up until the tour for this album, but it was Mikey Welch was the bass player. He would be the one that would replace original bassist Matt Sharp, who decided to stick with his work with the Rentals. Also, he decided to make a dumbass decision to help Vanilla Ice with a new metal remix for Ice Ice Baby. Don't know what he was thinking on that one. He probably regrets that one. But the Rentals, he does not regret, and I don't blame him. I have yet to hear anything from the Rentals, but from what snippets I may have heard, it's good. Whatever magic from 90s Weezer kind of went to them, so even though, Weezer came pretty close and got it back recently, And one of those albums, in fact, for this album, the problem is that for the first 4 tracks, really good, but everything past that, it kind of just molds together into this greenish blur that it is. And, they played it so damn safe that it doesn't nearly hold up as well as as their 90s stuff. And then they made another album after that with Scott Schreiner that would be better, but we're not going to get to that yet. The final track on here was about to break up with a girl that he was involved with drugs with and everything, and decided to finally break up with her because he realized that she was the problem for him, you know? And that's what A Girlfriend was about, and what stuff they did leading up to this realization, A Girlfriend, is the preluded track that is off of number 5. The White Album, ladies and gentlemen. Good old Whitey. Yes. I wish I got a chance to hear the other track, the bonus track that the Japs got lucky enough to have, and we didn't. Just kidding. I love you, Japs. You gave us good anime. Alright. And I know some people who have friends there who had to deal with certain things like tsunamis and stuff, which suck. I mean, it does. And I feel bad for the people who work on the mangas and stuff, especially the weekly stuff. It's apparently strenuous as all get-go with hours and stuff. I mean, give some of these guys some love if you like what some of these guys write and even have for anime. I mean, it's crazy. All right. I mean, this album opens up. The whole point was from the logo itself. It's like they're on a beach. The whole point was to go Beach Boys, even though I also think there might be a little bit of Beatles. Get it? In this album, but I think on a more Pet Sounds kind of way, in terms of Beach Boys and maybe White Album Blue from the Beatles, ironically enough. And yes, the tracks that they had chose first with track 3, skip it. Just skip the motherfucker. That's why this is odd for me to put this over here. But the thing is, it has a lot more going on with it. And from the beginning of this, and by the end of this, kind of full circle, kind of makes it go a little full circle in a way. They really capture this nice, calming, soothing vibe, which kind of goes away with track 3, really fucks shit up. The track is garbage. Thank God for Girls. A title like that isn't bad. At least not for me. I'm a Catholic and all that. But the moment you hear him start rapping, it's like, did you forget? Did you not learn? I thought you learned after from Ratitude and shit. From that piece of shit on the floor. It's like he has to get it out every so often. I mean, and then he has this, and of course track 5, as I mentioned, is Do You Want to Get High, which of course was the preluded mentioning of his time with this girl friend and his pill addictions and shit and all the stuff he went and did, with the girlfriend mentioned in Green Album. Near the end of the final track on Green from O Girlfriend. And it has a very Pinkerton-esque vibe, but it doesn't. But Pork and Beans, Pork and Beans is a little bit of a better track. I mean, but than this in terms of Pinkerton vibe. But it's not a bad track, necessarily. There are some tracks that do go into that certain vibes, but they're fine. Like, recently they decided to finally, on the point, play King of the World, which is great, which is actually a good track, and lyrically speaking, it's actually a nice, maturing sort of... Summer Lane and Drunk Dory is just, I don't know what to make of that lyrically. It's a nice little tune to just kind of sway your head to, but that's, at least for the chorus, it's nice. But the tracks that really got me, when I went into this album, 4 out of 5 tracks were good. Came out of this album, double that. 8 out of 10. And I actually do like Do You Want to Get High. I don't like it nearly as much, but I'd still put it as one of my 8 out of the 10 tracks I enjoyed. Track 9 is the other one. Even though it's still the way it starts off, it's like, does anyone not think about the fact that it reminds me of the third track a little bit? And it's like, okay, we're fucking up again. Oh, God. And then, but this is like, I mean, his high pitched, I'm all jacked up. Oh, God. Oh, God. I mean, he's done it on, like, The Greatest Man That Ever Lived, but for some reason, I can tolerate that one and, like, smile and want to laugh my ass off and get some enjoyment out of it, you know? Jacked Up, it's like, I almost want to, but I can't. It's just, the way it's done, it just doesn't work as well. I'm sorry, guys. Which is why it made it so much harder for me to get to the Endless Bummer track that ends this album off. And then I hear it, and of course it's like, hey, 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 hey. Ah, yes. I mean, it's California Kids, Wind in Our Sails that starts this record off. Girl, We Got a Good Thing. It is a good track, but, you know, coming straight off of Thank God for Girls just really fucks it up. If you skip it, you'll be able to finally enjoy this track 4. And it kind of sort of does seep into Do You Want to Get High. At least the version that's mastered on iTunes, I guess, that I got immediately when it came out that day, because I had to. And when I heard it, I was like, by the end of this album, I was like, Weezer, you didn't lose it. You still had it, buddy. This record, for the most part, was them doing the Beach Boys thing, but also kind of just, in a way, giving us everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all on this record. Luckily, majority of it was good. Only one technically bad track, and kind of bad, but in a Batman v Superman beautiful mess kind of way, I guess. And one just plain ugly piece of shit that's on the floor bad track. But if you just skip it, all you have to do, that's the thing that makes it helpful, is all you have to do is skip it. And all we had to do is make sure that bonus track that the Japs got, if it's actually any good, that should have been put in this track's place. Like, this track should not have even happened. It shouldn't have even become a single, and that's why it was put on this record. I feel like they pulled off what Red was, because the tracks Troublemaker and Pork and Beans were tracks that, because all the other songs they had weren't single-worthy, and those two tracks were put on there just so they could have singles for it. Pork and Beans being the only one that, worked. But nonetheless, despite my gripes, all I had to do was skip it and enjoy it. And for that, oh God. I don't know why I moved it. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, it's going right under here because this album came before this album. Deftones record. And yeah, that is where White Album's going to go. It's definitely more than likely going to make a top 10. I'm not sure it'll take a top 5. Depends on what else comes out this year. And we'll get to that by the end of this video. It's going to be a long one, guys. I'm already can tell from looking at my screen, it's going to be a long one. But it's going to be worth it, guys. Just bear with me. Just bear with me, okay? All right, guys. And here's number 4. Finally, let's get to it. It's going to be a little messy, but that's all right. We can deal with it. If you haven't figured it out already, Maladroit. Fucking Maladroit. I didn't get this album until recently. I didn't get Hurley. The only albums I have purchased are pretty well within my top 3. The Which, after Green, honestly, I never bothered to get into the band. And then I heard they did a Red album. It's like, this color scheme, I guess I gotta go fucking get it. And it didn't turn out too bad. I mean, it's pretty high up on the list of all the Dark Age shit, you know, so I guess it means something, you know. Still worth somewhat audible, and even some of the things that, you know, that you wouldn't expect from them. Like I said with that, but with Maladroit, they kind of left off from Green, and it's the first album and only other great album of the Scott Schreiner, good album within Scott Schreiner's lineup. A lot of time, first album with Scott Schreiner that actually is pretty damn good, and it's definitely was better than Green, and fortunately, White just couldn't top this record. Sorry, but I know some people say it's alright, and that's kind of what I felt too, but after a while, and after listening to the way Green was, and then looking at the Dark Ages, I wish people would have appreciated Maladroit for what it was. It did sell well, but just nobody cared for it. Well enough, at least, but nobody cared for it, you know. It went gold, everything, but just nobody liked it that much. It's alright. It's was better than Green. And a lot of the ideas on this track were just were pretty damn good. It was still fun. They were willing to experiment again. And then when the fucking make-believe happened, they just kind of left from this and then just kind of went into what they were doing with Green, kind of. And they just made a sound that was just leaving off from the good and then just somehow sucking out all the fun aspects that the last two albums even had prior to that with Green and Maladroit, and just, but with this record, it was like the last good album we ever had for a while. And after Ratitude, and Hurley tried, but the damage was done from Ratitude. It was too little too late. Maladroit was good. I mean, all these tracks are nice, you know. Slaba might have a little issue because it just sounds a little fucking douchey the way he comes off in the chorus. Self-aware, get yourself a job. To be a slob. I'm like, why did you like this, Crash Thompson? What the fuck? Ugh. Though Burnt Jam saves us all, does it not? Fall Together's great riffs I wish I could learn, man. There are a lot of good riffs on here. Keep Fishing's good, American Jiggle is not bad either, but I mean, Dope Nose, fucking ridiculous lyrics, but whatever. We're willing to let it slide. And December wasn't a bad Explosion, December. These were all. It's funny how it took 13 tracks for this one with Scott Schreiner to have a pretty fucking good album. And then I know some people's like, I fucking don't care about it. I don't care after fucking Pinkerton. No, nobody liked Pinkerton back then. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Hold on a second. And now, guys, we are at our top 3. This is the cream of the crop. The albums that if you don't like these, have these in your top 3, you're a fucking idiot. You don't deserve to be a Weezer fan. Or you don't know what good Weezer is, and you have not been given a chance to figure that out. And ladies and gentlemen, what sums up Weezer in general, what makes Weezer great, is that feeling that